welcome.
This is Luke Payson with MMA Fancast, and I'm coming to you from Indio Dojo Gym. Very excited to have the striking coaches here with me tonight, Coach Jeff and Coach Mikey. So thanks guys for taking time after your Muay Thai practice tonight. Very exciting. I want to talk to both of you about kind of what you love about coaching and what brought you specifically to Indio Dojo. So we'll just start with Coach Jeff and work this way.
So what do I like specifically? What brought me to coaching was I was a fighter. I started very late. I started when I was in my 30s. I actually started at Pittsburgh Muay Thai, trained under Stephen Strottmeyer, and then after a while I came here because my nephew was here. His name's Ryan Kim, and Ryan asked me to come down and check out the dojo, and in natural Brazilian fashion, before Danillo would let me on the mat, he basically said, "You have to spar me." So I said, "Oh, okay." Because he said, "Hey, did you train him?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Go put your gloves on." I said, "Okay." And that's how we met, and been here ever since.
And what do you like about coaching here? I saw you tonight running the developmental, but I'm sure you coach all levels. What do you enjoy about the process of seeing students develop skills?
For me, the camaraderie, just being with the guys day in, day out. I mean, Coach Mike does a lot of the physical training, like you saw them running in the parking lot. He does a lot of that. But for me, just watching them start with me in my class, get better, move up to the kind of intermediate level where they're holding more, hitting more, and then to watch them actually step into a ring or into a cage, for me, that's probably the most exciting part. And the fact that you develop these bonds, like Mikey, that's how I met him, and I consider him my family. And you just become, you do, and we preach that here. Like, we preach family. We're pretty tight here. We don't let a lot of people come in and out. I know that's, in the Pittsburgh area, that's kind of like, oh, we all train together, but I'll be honest, we don't. We kind of keep it in-house. It's not because we're not inclusive or we don't want to train with other people. I think it's just the way Danillo kind of likes it. And we just stick to what he likes, and that's how we do it.
Sure. Makes a lot of sense. Coach Mikey, what's your background and what brought you into coaching?
So I started with boxing back in the day with my father. I did a lot of boxing in Alabama, some boxing matches here. Then I went to Pittsburgh Muay Thai. That's how I met Uncle Jeff. He's an uncle to me. Sure. I love him to death, the whole family. Wherever he goes, I go. we're a combo player.
That's right.
I had some K1 fights, some Muay Thai fights as well. The thing I like about coaching is developing somebody who didn't start with anything into what they are now. I want them to be better than us. That's the goal.
Sure.
But the main thing is I want them to be safe and just to have fun. Just to have fun. If this is not your main goal to be an ultimate fighter, professional fighter, that's okay. Just come have fun, learn. I just love coaching. Coaching is fun. I like all the gyms in the Pittsburgh area. I just love teaching. It's fun. Seeing that what we teach and what we bring to the gym and them execute it out there is what makes me proud as a coach.
And that is exciting when you can see a skill that you saw them train 1,000 times in practice actually work in a fight. What are some of the competitions that are coming up? I know it's a busy summer, and so let's kind of shout out some events that you guys are training fighters for.
Yeah, so we have the 24/7 fight in July. We have a couple people fight in Delaware on a Muay Thai card. It's a tournament. It's a 3-day tournament.
Is that the WKAs?
Yes, WKAs. Yes.
Yeah.
We also have GFC coming up as well in September. So we have a lot of fights coming up. So it's good because everyone's active. We're training. It's just fun. So I just love it, man. Just love it.
And because I have an obligatory responsibility to always shout out GSP in all my interviews, because I love GSP,
Okay.
and Brian Middleton insults me about my love for GSP. So I'll say, I think what's really cool, and I'll get your guys' opinion on this, is GSP once said that some fighters never actually get into a cage or a ring, but they're great for the gym. Their attitude, sparring, training. What's it like as coaches to have members that maybe, like you said, they have different goals? They're here for fitness, fellowship, camaraderie. They love being a part of a family, part of a team, but their own personal preference or whatever it might be, they're not going to take a fight. How do you welcome them, and what's it like having sort of team members that are developing skills to help others, but not necessarily going to compete themselves?
I think for me personally, watching those people come in, and like you said, they do add, it's immeasurable what they add to our team. Not just the support, because a lot of times these people, they'll just show up to the events. They're like your biggest cheerleader, and that's okay. I'm fine with that. Or they'll come in and they're one of the best pad holders you've ever seen, but they'll never ever climb into a ring or a cage, and that's great too, because you need those people. And the funny thing is they kind of develop into pretty good coaches, which is the craziest thing. And because not all fighters become good coaches, it's just because they could just do it, they can't really teach it. So, for me, I think everybody plays a part here, especially. Like I said, we don't go outside of our gym that often, and we always tell people we have pros. We have Jay Manning, we have the Chase girls, we have the Cahills. We have all these. We have pro guys, then we have amateur guys, then we have we have guys that are, we call them hopefuls. They ask us like every class, when am I gonna fight? And then we have guys that like Dinosaur. You were talking to him in the parking lot. I mean, a guy. He's been here forever.
I hope he knows you call him Dinosaur.
We do.
He knows.
That's
I guess that's better than Grandpa.
Yeah, it is.
He graduated from Grandpa.
Yeah,
There you go.
that's why he's a
That's
dinosaur.
above Grandpa.
Graduated.
Right, there's levels. but yeah, you hit it right on the head. I mean, everybody plays an integral part here, and from us coaches to the fighters, to just even family members, they'll just show up, and you're like, wow, so you like every fight, and I think that's great. I mean, for me, like I said, it's a lot of family here, and like I said before, there are so many people from different countries that come here. We have Bosnians, we have Serbians, we have Croatians, which obviously are all the same country, and we have Kyrgyzstanis, we've had Africans here, you name it, they've all been here. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think earlier you were saying it's like a United Nations.
It is.
Here, so.
And absolutely, sometimes
Google Translate to the rescue.
They're just sitting there like, here, here's a question, and we're like, what? I'm like, okay. He's like, speak into this. He'll point, and I'm like, and then
Google Translate.
Right. It's the only way we can figure it out, but we do it. But like you said, it's kind of half sign language, like, okay, put your hand here. This is where the knee goes. Elbow now. And they get it. You watch them, and then you give them the thumbs up or the okay, the international symbol. Great job, But for me, that's really what it is. So, how about you, Mike?
What was the question? I was too busy laughing.
No, this
To be
has
honest.
been great. I guess a good question for you, Mikey, would just be the fact that I see you spending, obviously, at least tonight, you spend more time with the competitive team. What's a memory as a coach? I've had experiences in the corner of a fight where that's a sport, being a corner. I'm sure both of you guys. So let's talk a little bit about what has some of your experiences been in the sport of coaching, particularly that live action cornering where you have to know what to say or not to say to a fighter. I had some fighters that loved to be told honestly if they were winning or losing each round, and other fighters were more the pick me up, keep me motivated, even if things weren't going well. What's some lessons you've learned as transitioning, both of you, from fighters to coaches as far as your cornering? Because I always love to talk about kind of some cornering techniques?
So for me, every fighter is different. I never treat them the same, but for me, what I learned is if you're not calm in the corner, they're not going to be calm. So you have to be calm and relate to them like, hey, this is what I see when they throw this. That's your perfect chance to counter that one. And then from there, once they see it, they believe in themselves and they put more output out, and then they get the win. It's all about being calm, relaying the message, and feeding to them what you see to how they can relate to your fight.
Sure. It's being their eyes and ears,
Yeah.
or at least their eyes in that sense. A lot of people talk about how, fighting is so immersive because it's all your senses, that fight or fight, that you don't get that outside, that bird's eye view perspective. That's why coaches can see something that is so obvious, but the fighter's missing it because they're in the heat of the battle.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense. Coach Jeff, for you?
I would say probably the funniest story I had cornering someone was, I call him Fluffy, but it's Hoot Lee.
Oh, your nicknames. Coach.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
We call him Fluffy.
Sure.
But he, I remember we walk up, we're telling him the game plan, we're like, okay, make sure you throw straight punches at first, take your time, kind of ease into the fight. And if you remember his first fight, it was like, everything I said just went right out the window. Like it went in one ear and right out the other.
Sure.
And he is, and I've told him this, I said, you're one of the most natural fighters I've ever coached in my life. Like, half the things you do, you're just doing on autopilot, which is great. But my gosh, dude, you don't listen to a word I say. And he goes, no, coach, really? Remember when you told me to wait for him to step and then throw that leg kick? I did it once. And I went,
Hey,
great.
once is better than nothing.
And I said, why'd you go back to it? He goes, well, then I had to, literally, I'm not kidding. In the fight, he turned his head to ask me what I said. In the
I remember.
Yes, he literally went, what? And I was like, no.
You're in a fight.
Yeah, like Danillo's like, he's speaking Portuguese, like freaking out. I'm like, oh,
Well, Portuguese isn't going to help.
no,
Leave
right. I'm looking at him like, dude, like, what are you doing? But in the end, he worked it out. I do remember. I will tell you, when he got hit with that right hand and he spun in a circle, I was in shock that he was still up.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw his whole chin rock, and I was like, and I've been in fighting long enough that when I see that, usually the next question is what happened?
Sure.
Because they're out. But that kid he's got a jaw like iron. Like I've never seen anything like it.
When you're talking about, Hoot Lee specifically coming from a wrestling background, but making that transition to MMA, that's what's been so exciting. You have a lot of wrestlers. We have a former national qualifier holding our video camera, so thank you, video cameraman Ken Burrs. We use national qualifiers to do our light work, of course.
My man.
Yes. So, but you have so many. We were talking to Evan DeRucci before tonight because he's fought for 2 for 7 a bunch, as well as Tony, who I knew all the way back when he and Ken were at Waynesburg University. So it's kind of cool to kind of track, like you guys were talking about, the development. That's what I love about MMA Fancast, being able to watch development of fighters, already seeing fighters going from never fighting to debut and then working their way up to amateur title fights or even pros, as you guys were talking about. I really appreciate Danillo Villefort. Hopefully when he sees this, I really appreciate the opportunity to stop by and check out Indio. It's been too long because I've known you guys now for years, and at least Danillo. So thanks so much for letting me stop and interview you guys. The opportunity to train here with some of the best coaches and best fighters is really a wonderful opportunity. I hope people watch this video and sign up and get in touch with you guys. So, and buy tickets through the gym or through the fighters for 247 and all the other events coming up.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.